Welcome to Growing People. I'm John Losey. Now, I grew up going to camp and sitting around a campfire, listening to storytellers weave their tales and just being mesmerized by the power of their stories. And whether it was around the campfire or listening to a keynote speaker, I learned the power of storytelling. And since then, I've learned that, storytelling is a wonderful way to move people to action. You see, data is important. It will convince people, but data isn't enough to move people to action. Stories do that. Research out of Stanford points to the fact that stories are remembered 22 times better than data alone. And then Leo Widrich out of Science of Storytelling talks about how when we hear a story, parts of our brain, the motor cortex and other parts are fired off just like we were living that story ourselves. So stories are powerful, and I learned that. And then I learned when I started telling stories, working at camps and then in other contexts, that it's not just any old story. Mark Twain said, the difference between a story and the difference between a word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. And the same goes for stories. The difference between the powerful story and the almost powerful story is that same difference of that when you hit the nail on the head with the story, it moves people powerfully. But if you choose the wrong story, the wrong type of story, it actually works against you. So I moved into working in the corporate world, and this is where that really became real. And I would use my entertaining storytelling to try and convince people. And what happened is that I found leaders and managers and these very, very busy professionals had very little tolerance for stories that they felt wasted their time. And either it was the wrong topic, it was the wrong length, or it wasn't relevant to where they were at. I learned that the difference between the right story and the almost right story was the difference between a successful program that changed the way that people went about their jobs and one that was kind of dumped on by the participants. The power of story. See, the story loses its power when the story doesn't fit the desired outcome. So let me encourage you in this way. First, think about what do you want to accomplish with your story? What outcome do you desire? And also think about your audience and your context that you're telling it. You may not have 10, 15 minutes to weave a powerfully entertaining story. You may only have 15 seconds, 20 seconds to engage their emotions in a story that captures their attention. So what do you need to do? First, what do you want to accomplish? To who and in what context? And then find a story and practice it that's going to work in that context. Know why you're telling the story, what impact you want to create, and then choose the right story to tell.